Hello, good evening everybody. Welcome to round number 3 of the North American Grand Prix Formula Masters Championship here on Monday nights, coming to you live tonight from Barcelona in Spain, Circuit de Catalunya. And I'm joined once again by my broadcast partner, Brad Maris. Brad, welcome to the show.
Yeah, you know I'm not missing this one, Al. Holy cow, man. This place is a beast in these cars, man. Talk about some speeds, fast speeds around here, and some twitchy cars, some twitchy spots out there on track for these guys. This is going to be a hoot. I tell you what, it's going to be an hour's worth of race length, but if you're in the cockpit tonight, it's going to be like 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's going to be, we did some laps last night on here, and just the brief time I spent, it's definitely challenging, especially the final sector. And let's take a quick look at the track map here tonight. We're actually running the Moto layout, the old GP layout, before they threw in that dumb chicane there near the end in the third sector. But 13 corners, turns, well, I mean, Brad, a lot of long sweeping corners, fast corners, you know, it's very difficult and very tough to pick up your marks here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The corner entry and braking zones into some of these corners are exactly where it can be difficult, particularly there at that Campa. A very high-speed right-hand corner, and one you absolutely need to get right. And, of course, they're coming off a Seat, however the hell you say it. I don't know, but yeah, very difficult corners to pick up the entry and to get the power down, and a few bumps on some of those exits as well, leading to a little instability at the rear for these guys. It's going to be a very interesting test tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and we have moved over to qualifying here, so let's see what's going on here on track as the boys make their way out of the pit lane to start this 25-minute qualifying session. Last week we had Kevin Savoy snatching up his first pole of the season, his first career at Assetto Corsa pole position, I believe, and beating out Matt Taylor and Ronny Nunez. But it's looking quite racy here tonight, as is Luis Nieto set the best time in the session just before we switched over here. So I saw him dip into the 39s, the low 40s were what we were seeing for pace, but I have to guess 39s is quality pace. It could be quicker than that. I'm not too sure. These guys are kind of coy there, Brent.
You know, it did look like Luis Nieto was on the soft compound tires. Interestingly enough, Al, as we talk about tires, looks like the majority of these guys actually were practicing on the hard compounds here for this circuit. So I didn't do enough research into that, but it looks like these guys think that the hards are going to be the way to go for the race. But I think that Luis Nieto top time was a soft compound / qualifying time.
Yeah, the brief time I spent last night running this circuit in these cars and mediums kind of got very hot there. Pretty early on in the stint, and we're going to jump on board here with Ronny Nunez as we take a lap around Barcelona. Hopefully he can keep it on track for us, making its way into this turn 1, 2, 3 complex.
Yeah, turn 1, not such a big deal, but you want to get turn 2 right, because once you get on the throttle coming off that corner, you're on it all the way around here. See what this lap traffic does. Ronny barely able to hold that. I wonder if his tire's still coming up to temperature a little bit, but here's the first difficult entry of the night. You always think you can brake a little later than you actually can for this corner. Ronny actually does slide off the apex a little bit. You definitely want to get it down tighter than that and accelerate early. Another blind braking spot here. This one's easy to undershoot and to overshoot, but man, you got to get it so right if you want to have a good lap going, because that's what it's going to take. So not too difficult an entry here coming into this left-hander, but very difficult on exit. You can use a little bit of that curving, but boy, these cars can be upset if you take too much. And here we come to that Seat corner type, or no, that's well, whichever one it is, it's tough, put it that way. And here's some of your second sector corners I think you're talking about, Al. Very late braking here and a very high-speed blast coming off the corner. You want to get the power down very quickly. There is actually quite a bit of grip there on that exit, so you can do it. Just don't want to overdo it if you possibly can. So, and then our final two corners here are very... Oop, looks like Ronnie's... Not sure if he's backing off there, saving himself a little time or what. But anyway, we can see more or less flat-out corners. I might have a little lift coming off the last corner, but that's it. That's your lap at Barcelona.
So Ronny immediately jumps up to provisional pole. Nieto with the 139.6. So Nieto, man, he has got this track figured out so far. Quickest guy on track at the moment. Matt Taylor carrying some success ballast for this race here tonight after 2 second place finishes in a row. He's carrying 30 kilograms of ballast. So it's going to be interesting to see how Matt manages the weight around here. His lap times weren't all that bad from what I saw in practice compared to some of the guys without weight. Continue to follow Matt here.
Yeah, so 30 kilograms of success ballast for those last two finishes, last couple weeks. Put in some great finishes, and that's the most we've seen here in terms of winner's weight ballast on a car. And you're right, you know, hanging there toward the bottom of the top 10 for Matt Taylor, our current points leader, so maybe struggling a little bit with that weight.
So look pretty decent there through Campsa. That's actually the name of the corner we were trying to figure out.
Ah, thank you, Al, yes.
Now making his way through La Caixa.
I'm glad somebody's got it down, because, you know, I'm lost out there sometimes, Al.
I'll be honest with you, it's not from memory. I am cheating. But
I was trying to make it look good. Come on, buddy.
Nonetheless. So a pretty tidy lap here from Matt as he makes his way down the start-finish line. And he's going to slot in with a... there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, 2:02.2. So that must have been an outlap. Great. David Poole currently residing in 6th. Early on here in this session. Tiago Canola now also into the 39s. The only two guys in the 39s. Well, Brad, something tells me Canola's starting to figure it out. He had a breakthrough race last week at Zandvoort, finishing 4th.
Yeah, and his second Assetto Corsa race ever. So Tiago Canola actually, I think, is going to have some great pace here tonight. He was among the top time there, all the drivers that were on the hard. So Tiago looking sharp. And hey, there's old Kevin Savoy popping his head up there again.
Yeah, we were just following John Houston there. He's currently in 10th. Him and his teammate, 9th and 10th. A little better this week than last week. Right at your end, just clocked in with a 41.7. Let's jump on board with Nieto here. He is best so far in this session. Nieto was our special guest competition committee member last night. Reviewing penalties from last week. Going over all the incidents. So good insight from Lewis.
Yeah, well, we've heard all kinds, and we've heard worse than what Lewis had to offer, but hey, it's just a community effort, and so it's nice that he was able to help out with that. Thank you, Lewis.
Taking it a bit wide. Wow, nice save from Lewis, so that's not going to get it done, so he's going to try it again. Joe LaCour now coming to the line. Joe LaCour currently in 11th. Best time 41.4, kind of languishing behind here a little bit for Ian. So he tells me he'll improve here as the night moves on. Canola now on a flyer. We haven't followed Tiago for a little bit here. Let's jump on board with him. Let's see if he can move into that top spot with this lap.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, he's certainly got the pace to do it. If you're only a 10th off of the next guy up, well, you figure you got a shot. So still relatively early in this qualifying session, though. Only 17 minutes yet to go. That's a real bait-you-in type corner there. You always want to try to enter that a little deeper than you actually can.
Wow. Interesting there for Canola. On, off the throttle. Very cool to hear that.
Interesting. Like Nieto, enters that corner in third, then takes the downshift to second. So holding momentum through there in that third gear and then coming down to second. That's interesting.
Really cool couple of sets of these final two corners here. It's a shame they changed that layout of the track there in F1. It's so nice. But to Canola, to the line. Does he improve? He does. Oh no, I take that back. He does not. So he's 39.7. We just had Cuppin chime in here with a 41.4, and Walton continues to improve with a 42.2.
Your split time apps working there, Al?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Sector times?
Let's bring up the sectors here. Sorry, I've been looking at the best laps here. So yeah, you see that gap, just over a tenth of a second off for Canola behind Nieto. Now taking a look at Chris Moses, who is currently in 8th. Top 5 at the moment, it is Nunez. Wow, just as I said, top 5. Nunez jumps into provisional pole with a 39.656. So he best Nieto by 1/100th of a second. So it's Nunez, Nieto, Canola, Savoie, and Jolicoeur. So Jolicoeur figured something out.
Shocking.
So Matt Taylor now has jumped up to 11. So it looks like that weight is certainly having an effect on his pace here tonight. We're on board with Chris Moses here as he makes his way through these final 2 corners. Canola now has improved to a 139.683. Still only good for 3rd. Looks like Nunez might have dropped out, but he should retain that position. So very close times up front here. David Poole now in A. So Chris Moses, he has jumped up to... No, he is still in A. Times are a little skewed here because Nunez is not in the server. But David Poole currently running in 9th. Let's take further back here. Brian Story sitting in 21st. Sergio Calderon, he is back here in 23rd. I was watching Sergio in practice. He's looking pretty good out on track. He had some good pace going, just hasn't been able to set a time. Our winner from last week, Alex White. Haven't talked about last week's race, but pretty exciting battle between the top 3 in that race. And well, we had a titanic battle between Nieto and Thiago Canola Trussler and Thiago Canola most of that night too. That was for 4th. But Alex White, definitely the story last week, winning and holding off Matt Taylor late in that race.
Boy, was that race just a matter of inches. There were some mistakes back and forth, but it really just came down to just bare inches in that race all the way through. It was really fantastic stuff.
Moses now has jumped up to 6th. Times are very close. 1 second separating first through 10.
Yeah, and that at a rather longish track, it has to be said as well. So you're absolutely right. I tell you, the key tonight for these guys, and we'll go over it a bit more perhaps, but the key is who's going to be able to go to 96 or 97% without wrecking the thing. If you go to 100, you're in the wall. So that's the highest percentage these guys are going to be able to get to and still keep it on track. That's going to determine your winner.
So no improvement there for White. Oscar Lithgow currently in 12th. Aaron Parsons, looks like he is in 9th. Now Nieto has jumped up to provisional pole here. The times are starting to drop, Brad.
Well, they sure are, and it's going to continue to tighten up. Another 11 minutes to go, so these guys have a few more laps in them.
John Houston has improved. He has jumped up to 11th. Nieto coming out of the pit lane. Savoie is now moved up to 3rd. So, kind of pick up some of our front runners here. Mike Trussler currently in 7th. He's coming to the start-finish line. Behind him, Chris Moses remains in 5th. Sam Rolfe just checks in with a 42.7, so a lot of these guys setting their personal bests in this session. Jump on board with Moses here. He's got Trussler just ahead of him on track. Both these guys on flying laps. A little bit of a lock up
almost
there.
Took that braking too late. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure that's going to help too much either there. That took that entry a little late. Whoa!
Ooh, gets it
wrong.
wrong.
Make up some time.
Yep. So let's jump on board here now with Trussler. Trussler on a flyer. Nunez has made his way back into the server. So right now, Nieto, Nunez, Canola, Savoie, and Jolicoeur. That's your top 5. Two Canadians, a Brazilian, and 2 Dominicans. Oh, Trussler's going to back out of it. So, a truly international top 5 so far.
It is. And Chris Moses, the representative American, yet not yet even in the top 5 himself, Al.
Looks like he's going to back out of it. Well, we haven't followed Aaron Parsons too much this season. We're on board with him now. Parsons looks like the Abarth last season, a little slow to come to grips with these cars. But it looks like he may be starting to find his pace.
Well, it was 2 races for Aaron Parsons and this team in the Abarth before they got it figured out. By race 3, I think they were up there. Aaron may be challenging for that win in the 3rd race, but this is our 3rd race here of the season, so these guys better get cracking and soon.
Yeah, 3rd race of a 12-race schedule. They certainly did come on late there and threaten for that team championship, but a little too late for T. Brock Dampan. But let's see what Aaron Parsons can do here as he comes around the final corner. Take this across the line. So Parsons does improve to a 40.6. Still no improvement, unable to move up from that 10th position. And Taylor has improved to a 40.6. So Taylor bumps Parsons down a position. So Taylor has found some pace here. He's now in 10th.
Wow. And that with those extra 30 kilograms of success ballast as well, Al.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's definitely impressive. Alex White here carrying 20 kilograms himself for the win last week, and he is running in 8th. All right, just under 7 minutes to go here This session really going by quickly.
Now Alex White pushing hard, looking for those few extra tenths.
Chuck Carter pushing a little too hard, takes it out into the sand trap. Canola making his way out of the pit lane. Taylor out as well. David Rowley. Not sure what's going on with Rowley here. He hasn't. He's had some flashes of brilliance. He had some flashes of brilliance last season in the Abarth, but struggling here early on in this season. He is currently back in 18th. Now Chris Moses moves up to 5th. Wow, look at how close those times are up front. 39.792 for Savoie, 39.798 for Moses.
That'll be a real confidence boost for Chris Moses. He was frankly looking, a little out of sorts there, so that should get him on the right track.
Yeah, we're on board here with Savoie. He just had a little bit of a bobble here. Corner before last. He says we picked him up, so I don't know if this is. Oh. Yeah, a little too much throttle there, so that's not going to help him. Rallies off. Take a look at the gaps here. Sorry, folks, I get caught up in some of the action here. Forgot to look at the sector times. Parsons comes to the line. Was an outlap for him. Sam Rolfe currently in 20th. Let's see if we can pick up Ronny Nunez there. He's up in the first sector. On board with him. LaCour up as well.
Yeah, Ronny Nunez finds himself 10 points behind our leader here after the first 2 events of the season. You know, Ronny Nunez is one of those guys who figures he can insert himself into this championship. So an important qualifying session for him here tonight.
Oh, these sector times very close. Canola off 2 tenths in sector 1. He is also on a flyer. Ronny holding 4th gear.
Yeah, got to be a little careful on that exit curbing. No, he's going to...
Yeah, not good enough. He was finished 2 tenths off there. See Marty Uren coming to the line. Marty's back in 16th. Parsons way off. Looks like he had an issue. Taylor puts a wheel off into the dirt. Thiago Canola now coming to the stripe. Oh, Taylor did improve on his time, however, even by doing that. So Canola does not improve, so he's going to remain in 3rd. Still time here for these guys. Kurt Chandler languishing back a little bit here, in 19th for Kurt. Miller just exiting the pit lane. He is back at 15th. Alex White exiting the pits. Houston has improved. David Poole gets it a bit wrong, but Houston has improved now. He is up to 10th, bettering his teammate Parsons. Taking a look at these lap times, it is really tight. Just about a second covering 1 through 12. Savoie now on a flyer. See if he can pull a rabbit out of the hat. What? Ooh, not gonna happen in this lap. Nieto, our current provisional pole sitter. Little off in the first sector. Chris Moses up in sector 1. Moses a little bit ahead of him on track, maybe not. Trying to pick up these guys. Moses behind him on track. Oh, Nieto backs out of it. Well, Moses was up in the first sector. Oh, no, I think that's going to cost us some time.
Well, you'd think so, but sometimes, you know, you just you throw it in there and see if it sticks. Sometimes it does.
It cost him 3/10 there in that middle sector. Well, he may have time to get one more in. Trusser now sets personal best, moves himself up to 7th.
Wow. Well, we know one thing for sure. Luis Nieto is not going to get another lap in, so the guys out there on track, they got another shot.
Let's see what Moses can do here as he comes to the stripe. He improves to a 39.788, so he bumps Savoy back a position, but you got to wonder, that could have been a much better time for him. Maybe even a pole lap had it not been for that off. So let's see, trying to pick up these guys here as they come to the line. Calderon, checkers are out. 22nd. Calderon's not going to improve here.
It looks like Savoy will get another go. And only one in our top 5 that's going to get a chance here at another lap.
David Poole is still on track. So Savoy comes to the line. Does he improve? Not going to happen. So someone coming down the line here. Kevin Miller improves to a 140.7. That's a good lap for Kevin. Moves him up to 14th.
Trussler, 6th.
Yeah, jumps into the 39s. Wow, these laps. Joe LaCour on track. Chuck Carter out there still. On board with Joe LaCour. Ooh, a little bit oversteer there. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. This will help him. Oh, okay.
Ooh, session's over. Oh, that's gonna do it, man. What a qualifying session here, Brad. Luis Nieto grabbing pole here at Barcelona with a 1:39.5. Outstanding lap.
Yeah, it really was, and I have to say I'm very impressed. Luis Nieto running, he's a very fast driver, obviously. Didn't ever really quite get it together, though, in terms of wins or results last season, but I think he's come out very determined this season and has withheld the pressure of this qualifying. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Those times are extremely close. That is a very well-earned pole position for Luis Nieto.
Yeah, 1 through 10 separated by... well, 1 through 12, like I said, just about a second separating the top 12 here. Pretty amazing. Ronny Nunez qualifying in 2nd with 10 kilograms of success ballast. So pretty nice lap there from Ronny as well. So and Chris Moses is going to be starting with Tiago on the 2nd row there. So I think that's the best start for both those guys so far this season.
Yeah, well, now it all comes into, all the race crap comes into play now. Who's going to be able to survive this very intense pressure over the course of, shoot, how many laps do we have around here? 32?
32 laps. Yeah, so it is going to be pressure-packed, and Tell you what, the first two races so far this season have been pretty great to watch at the broadcast. So I think we're going to be in for a good show here tonight. Let's take a look at talk about the standings here on Monday night. So Matt Taylor leading the way with 43 points ahead of Alex White, who's got 40. Nieto going to do himself some help here with that extra point for qualifying, for getting pole position. He's in third with 35 points. Nunez in fourth with 32. And Joe LaCour and Moses tied for fifth with 22 points. Both those guys looking to break out here tonight. And the team championship, Precision Motor Racing, Moses and Matt Taylor leading the way with 65 points. But Team Formula Winning, after last week's run at Zandvoort, jumped up to second, only 4 points back. Alex White and Mike Trusser 4 points behind PMR. Monty Python Racing, that's Nieto. That's Nunez and David Poole. They're in third with 52. Rocky Road Racing, they're in fourth. That's Nieto and Kevin Miller, I believe, at 34 points. And Brian Story. And in fifth, it's Kung Fu Racing, Joe LaCour and Marty in fifth with 33 points. So still very early in this season, and it is a long season. A lot can happen in these team standings, but still cool to run them down week after week to see how things progress here. Let's talk about, let's run down the starting lineup here tonight, Brad. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Excellent. All right. Well, starting from pole position here tonight, it is going to be his first pole of the season, Luis Nieto. Qualified with a 139.5. He's going to be starting out front. Alongside him, it's going to be Ronny Nunez in second, Canola in third, and Chris Moses fourth. Kevin Savoy, he's going to start fifth.
Yeah, hopefully Kevin Savoy will better his race result over what he had last week. Mike Trussler, the second half of Team Formula Winning, will be starting sixth. Ian Jolicoeur takes seventh. Alex White starts eighth. Marty Wren is in ninth. He had some technical problems before the race, so hopefully he'll be okay tonight. And David Poole slots 10th.
John Houston, he's going to start in 11th. Matt Taylor, he's going to start 12th. Behind Taylor, it is Aaron Parsons in 13th. Kevin Miller's going to start 14th, and Cuppett, Jonathan Cuppett, he'll be starting 15th.
Yeah, Oscar Lithgow. Let's not forget Oscar and his great run there at Spa in our first event. But Oscar's starting 16th here tonight. John Wathen will take 17th. NAGP veteran David Rowley, mentioned him, Al. Yeah, didn't do any better than 18th here tonight. Curtis Chandler's going to start 19th, and Chuck Carter's right behind him in 20th.
Sam Roll starting in 21st. Sergio Calderon's going to start 22nd. Greg Myers 23rd. 24th is going to be Brian Story. 25th, Liquid Lou Mascarelli. And in 26th, it's going to be Mike Greatrix, who is serving a no call here tonight for tonight's event. Well, I'm pretty excited.
Right you are, Al.
Pretty excited about this event here tonight, Brad.
You know, I am too. And you ran down the points list there for our championship drivers, and a lot of those names you mentioned are starting here inside the top 10, Al.
All right. Well, we have any predictions here, Brad, before we get this show on the road?
You know, I think this is wide open tonight. It's honestly going to be a very tough race for these guys to maintain great pace and keep it on track the whole way. I look for anything to happen.
Well, I'm going to go with... We are... Green flag here for Barcelona as the field makes its way down into turn one. It's going to be Chris Moses looking on the inside of Nieto and not going to get it done. Ronny Nunez with a great start. He's going to work his way out and take the early lead here. Moses slots into second. Canola right behind him in third, followed by Joe LaCour and Cuppett with a great start. He has moved up pretty nicely.
Alex White and Kevin Savoy back in the pack. Al saw a little fracas up there. Don't know what happened, but they are back in the pack.
It looks like they must have had it coming together there. Ooh, big oversteer from Moses. He manages to save it. Right behind him is Canola and Joe LaCour behind these guys. So these guys running 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here to start this race. Cupping all the way up to 6th with an outstanding start. Ooh, Joe LaCour laid on the brakes. These guys driving here on cold tires to start this event. Very tricky here early on. See Moses running a little bit wide there. Canola looking to take advantage, running a bit tighter line through there, but Canola may get a run here on Moses as we exit this final corner. Guys making their way down into turn 1. Nunez leading the first lap of this event here. Very tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. The top 5. Cuppet holding strong there in 6, followed by David Poole in 7. Marty Uren with a great start now has moved up to 8. So must have been some kind of incident there a little bit in the back. Shuffled some guys around. Parsons up to 9, Brad.
Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely what's happened. And unfortunately, both Alex White and Kevin Savoy are running a foul again, not due to circumstances of their own. Massive damage for those guys. Tough night.
John Watson has jumped up to 10th. Followed by Kurt Chandler. Matt Taylor back in 13th. Calderon with the dynamic start here. He is running up to 12th after qualifying in 22nd. Got Chuck Carter behind them. Sam Rolfe. Story Rally in 17th. Oh yeah, Trussler must have had some kind of issue. He is back in 19th. He's got Lithgow all over his tailpipe. Combo with Oscar. Got that battle for the lead there between Nunez and Nieto. Very tight up front. Really tight battle here for mid-pack here between Trussler, Story, and Lithgow. Trussler, ooh, some contact between Trussler and Story. Looks like Lithgow's going to make his way past, as does Houston, who must have gotten tangled up in the back. Savoy, I see him back there in 22nd. So, yeah, a lot of drama here early on, Brad. Canola now coming under some big pressure here from Joe LaCour.
Yeah, this track is simply tough enough. We mentioned that last week as well. Track's simply tough enough without some of these excessive contacts.
Bravo with Joe LaCour here. Ooh, Joe LaCour doing a lot of that. A lot of guys we're seeing that from. Battling some oversteer. On throttle. That's giving some Canola. Ooh, Canola with a bit of a moment there. Now Joe LaCour may have a run. This is in a La Cascia. It's going to be Canola and Joe LaCour side by side. We've seen a lot of side by side action. Ooh, Canola takes a little bit too wide, so kind of washed out there. Got out of the groove, and he's going to drop a position there, but that's about it for Canola. He'll be back on it. But meanwhile, Chris Moses. This battle here, the top three. Moses has not lost sight of Nunez and Nieto here up front. So Moses holding some good pace here early on. Oh, Brad, I see you disconnected from the server.
I'll be right back, Al. I'm here. I'll be right back in.
Okay.
I had a quick technical issue to deal with here.
So we're watching that Canola now has dropped down to 5th. Aaron Parsons now all over the back of David Poole. David Poole running there in 6th. So Parsons looks like he has found some pace here early on in this race. Poole locking him up there. Nice battle here. Right behind them is Marty Uren. So Marty with a great start also. Little ugly there for Poole. Parsons going to have a look. I thought better of it. A little bit of a ragged lap there for David Poole. Poole looks like he's going to give up that position to Parsons. So Parsons going to take that away. So Parsons picks up a spot there from David. Marty Uren is going to be looking to take advantage of David Poole here as well. So Marty, gotta wonder. I think Poole may have some damage here. He looks like he's a little bit off pace.
Okay, sorry about that, Al. I think I'm back and in shape for trying to help out.
Excellent. Marty with the run on David here down the main straight. Gonna have a look on the inside. So yeah, I gotta imagine that David Poole is struggling a little bit here. So Marty takes that spot away. Cuppett's dropped a couple positions after running around here a little bit early on in 6th. He's back in 9th. And John Watson with the strong showing here, running in 10th.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, we saw John Watson with some of those flashes last season in the Barce. Didn't always make good use of having some good pace. It'd be nice to see John up there able to fight a little bit in these Formula Masters.
Far early on, best lap of the race so far is Chris Moses with a 140.6. So he's doing a nice job there, keeping pace with those guys leading.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about racecraft, and that's exactly what I was talking about, is some of the veteran fortitude to come through in the race situation.
Watching this battle between Nieto and Nunez, it is very tight here. 3/10 separating these two guys. Chris Moses 1.5 seconds off the leader. Yeah, looks like Nunez might be running a little. Dave Raleigh in the pits. So Nunez might be running a little less wing here than Nieto. Nunez looks to be pulling away from him a little bit down the straight.
Yeah, an interesting race we've had kind of unfolding here before us. I'm still trying to kind of get my hands around this here, Al, with Savoie and Alex White being sent back, and those are pretty major championship figures here. Aaron Parsons suddenly up there and fighting. Chris Moses, kind of a resurgent Chris Moses. Boy, he has had some tough luck this season. Haven't seen him up there for a while. Todd Canola slipping back a little early, so yeah, interesting. The dynamic, I think, has changed a little bit here, Al.
Yeah, it's appearing that way, doesn't it? I mean, yeah, Moses with some tough luck here early on. The first 2 races had some pit issues. Last race, and had to make an extra stop. But looks like he's got everything put together here tonight. After his teammate,
Well, I tell you,
after his teammate was on fire the last 2 races. Go ahead, sorry.
yeah, that's right. No, I was going to say, you know, for those not suffering some misfortunes out there early in this championship, there's nothing like putting up an 18 or 20 point night toward that championship, which will cure a lot of ills quickly.
Further back here, David Poole now coming under some pressure from Jonathan Cuppett. So Cuppett having the best run so far of his season here.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, K-Rod. Saw a bunch of dust back there coming off of turn 2, and something happened But that will have to be upon further review because we didn't quite catch it.
So Cuppet having a look on the inside of Poole. Not going to be able to get it done. Wow, Nunez continues to maintain that pace. You can see that Nieto is a lot better through the tighter technical portions of the track, and Nunez just motors away from him down the straight.
Well, I tell you something else that could play into Luis Nieto's favor is that once the tire wear does begin to accrue and these cars get even a little twitchier out there, it could be an advantage Luis Nieto if he is running that higher downforce. Those guys firmly in control of this race, though. It doesn't seem there's anybody else on track, with the exception perhaps of Moses, able to really maintain that type of pace.
Nieto might get a run here. I was going to say, he's got to, yeah, you can see Nunez start to pull away here down the track, so it's going to have to be, wants to make this pass. It's going to have to be somewhere in the infield, maybe coming up here. It's going to be better through this part of the track.
Boy, I tell you, both these guys have shown such great pace here early in their NAGP careers, but you know, we don't quite have a handle on these guys yet, and exactly what their kind of modus operandis are. You know, Nieto, we know he's a great follower, but we don't know necessarily that he could lead in a close battle like this. Nunez, he does seem to come on with a little bit more speed the later the race goes on, but here he is under pressure pretty hard by two of the finest behind him. So it's an interesting battle we're having here.
Nunez has set fast lap in the race, 140.6. So undaunted here, Nunez ignoring what's behind him and setting some blistering laps here. Meanwhile, Chris Moses has caught up to this battle.
Yeah. Yeah, and I tell you, the gaps back to Angelicor and Thiago Canola in 4th and 5th have stabilized as well. So maybe we have to say Nunez falling a bit further off the pace at this point.
So Nieto briefly goes red here. I think Moses is going to have a run on Nieto. Nieto had a little too much curve on the inside. Moses is going to have a look on Nieto here on the inside. Looks like he's got him beat. Nieto's going to have to give up that spot. So advantage Moses there. Oh, Nieto may look to counter.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mistake there, entering the penultimate corner there for Luis Nieto, which precipitated that.
Oh, big save from Nieto. Wow. He nearly lost that. Sorry, Brad.
No, that's fine. I was done. I'm just sitting back and enjoying this action.
Big time save there from Nieto. Wow. Looking at it on the replay, man. Wow. I don't know how he managed to save that, but he did. But further back here now, Marty Uren under some pressure from David Poole. So Poole looks like he's got his legs back after Marty got past. Coppet's still in this battle as well.
Yeah, quickly to David Poole. He has been having a very difficult time getting his hands wrapped around these Formula Masters cars. So it's good to see him up. Perhaps he is beginning to see light at the end of the Formula Masters tunnel.
So Moses now coming up back under some pressure from Nieto. So the gap between Nunez and Moses, 1.6 seconds. We'll have to keep an eye on that, see if it starts to increase. And further back, Lithgow, Trussler having a great duel here. So Trussell back in 15th, Houston in 16th. Alex White, last week's winner, back in 24th, 2 laps down.
Well, that's one way to lose your weight for next week, but not exactly the way you want to do it.
Lithgow on Chuck Carter here going into 1. Chuck's going to hold on to that spot. Ooh, Chandler off pace there momentarily, so a bit of a moment for those guys that get through okay. Looks like Oscar may have a little bit of pace here on Chuck. Chuck doing a good job here defending. Oh, Oscar looking to get around the long way. Nearly threw it off there, Brett. Nearly threw it off, Brad.
I didn't get a chance to see that, but we know Oscar's got some skills behind the wheel, so hopefully he'll hang on. That's one whale of a battle they're having.
Oh my God, what a gaggle of cars here between Chuck Carter. Let's go. Starting to look a little impatient here, Brad.
Well, also an NAGP newcomer, Oscar Lithgow, so we'll just see how he reacts to this close battle.
Side by side with Chuck. Again, trying to make it the long way around. And, well, wow, nice pass there from Oscar. And nice job from Chuck. Well, let's not forget, Oscar had a great battle with Alex White at Spa. We commented on how great those two dealt with one another. So another good job there. And another good job by Chuck. Could have forced the issue there, but decided not to. So a couple guys into the pits. Let's see here. Chandler comes in. Pretty early stops. It looks like some of these guys with damage might be coming in here early. Once that window open, they're coming in, getting service, fixing the damage, and getting back out for the end of the race.
Yeah, I neglected to look earlier, but every single driver out there on the hard
Watson
tires
has thrown it off. So Watson, who was running strong in 10th, has dropped now to 11th. Taylor takes over that position. So good run here from Cuppet. He is putting a lot of pressure on David Poole. Unable to make this pass. Got a number of laps now. Cuppet has been following David around.
Yeah, and Cuppet showing some very good speed. You know, we haven't had a chance to talk about Mr. Cuppet here much this season, but he's looking pretty sharp here tonight.
Takes it a little bit wide there. Ooh, rallies out of the race. Oh, Cup, is he going to hang on to it? No! No! Got a wheel off and took it into the wall. Oh, tough break for Cuppet. He's going to try and get it turned around here. And, wow, what a tough night for Cuppet. He's got it going, but, man, he had a good run going. So, that's going to give David Poole a little bit of breathing room here. And he's lost some pace here, lost some time to Marty and Parsons, who are running 7th and 6th. So, Canola back here. He is 7 seconds off the leader, back in 5th. Joe LaCour running here in 4th. I'm sorry, that was Parsons who were following. So this battle between Joe LaCour and Tiago, like you said, has been pretty steady. But up front here, this battle for the lead continues. Now it's Nieto putting a ton of pressure on Chris Moses.
Yeah, these guys have settled down they've settled down somewhat. Those gaps remain pretty static for now. So, but Lewis is creeping up ever so slightly, isn't he?
We're going to wonder if we're going to see a replay of last week where the top 3 pitted on the same exact lap, and all three of them came out nearly identical times. So halfway for these guys is going to be lap 16. So just a couple, 3 laps to go here before these guys may come in the pit. And Nieto has now set fast lap of the race with a 1:46.15. That's following Chris Moses. Canola and Joe Lacour nearly identical lap times. Couple thousand separating those two in the best lap.
You know, watching this battle up front there, when Chris Moses and did battle Luis Nieto get around, I thought Ronny Nunez would be able to escape, be able to set a decent pace and slowly pull out a gap. That just has not happened out toward the front. So still very racy, but I tell you, Moses and Nieto, both of those guys, I can tell you, are in the red. I think they're at their maximum allowable grip here, so they're fighting very hard.
Tell you what, these guys, Canola and Joe Lacour, they're having a great fight here, but they're also closing up a little bit on the front runners. The gap was
they
over
haven't given up anything, have they?
No, it was over 7 seconds. Now it's down to 6 and change.
Well, we're going to have laps, rather pit stops coming up here very shortly, so these guys are going to have to factor into their strategy just when they want to apply those pit stops.
Well, Joe Lacour and Canola are guys who like to extend their stints here, so they may pit later than these front runners. You saw Canola pit late last week. We've seen Joe Lacour do it a number of times in the past, so we'll see how these things pan out here momentarily.
Well, the nature of this race sure changed with that early exit there by Kevin Savoy and Alex White, and of course Matt Taylor as well also had a problem there. Qualified inside the top 10 too, so.
Yeah, I just noticed now that Trussell and Savoy both out of the race. Ooh, yeah. These guys are dealing with some lap traffic already. Brian Story is making his way past. Moses with a moment is going to give up that spot. Perhaps to Nieto. He does. So Nieto now takes over the second spot. Let's see what happened there. It looked like Moses got through there okay, but apparently not. He's a little slow getting through Campsa.
Yeah, so 2 laps from halfway here. I thought actually we might see a quick dive in there from Moses on that lap. He does like to come in early if he can. Feels he has a tire advantage over the other guys.
Joe Lacour just had a moment on the exit of that final corner at turn 13, and he managed to save it. Allowed Canola to close the gap a little bit.
Boy, this is a tough place to pass at. So your best bet, it really is either that turn 1 complex or a mistake from a guy in front. That's really one of your better opportunities to make the pass around here. It's tough.
Yeah, we saw Lithgow get around Carter there at Lakasha, but it's a tough pass to get around somebody on the outside there. It can be done, but you really got to nail it. So Moses has dropped off the pace a little bit here. He's now 3 seconds off of Nunez. Nieto has begun to pull away a little bit from Moses here. And he's given a little bit of breathing room to the guys up front. But what a great battle here between Joe Lacour and Canola. This is for 4th. Joining us, you're watching live coverage of North American Grand Prix Monday night Formula Masters League. Joe Lacour dives into the pits after I said he would stay out. So live.
Yeah, Moses as well.
Moses is in also. So So you see the blue box appear next to the guy's name. That indicates drivers into the pits. You see it on Moses and Joe LaCour now. So this is live coverage of round 3 here from Barcelona. Ronny Nunez leading this race from the green flag. Taking the lead early on from pole sitter Luis Nieto, but it's been very tight here. Very close battle.
You know, the field actually has separated quite a bit with the exception of those top 5 who have remained in very close contact to each other. But other than that, the battles out on track are a little few and far between going into these pit stops.
So Lithgow into the pits now. Let's see what Ronny decides to do here. He's going to be nearing his window. Alex White out of the race.
Yeah, finally it had enough, I guess. That was a tough run for Alex White. Be interesting to see on that replay just what happened.
So after the stop there from Moses and Joe LaCour now 3 seconds off of Chris Moses. That's for 4th. So looks like a pretty good stop from Ian. So Nunez is going to stay out. Oh, as Nieto has a mistake. And he's going to dive into the pits, but that's probably going to cost him that position from Moses. And now Thiago Canola into the pits as well. So Canola in, Nieto in. Let's see what happens here now as Chris Moses is going to be coming around the start-finish line. And that is Chris Moses. Nieto, I believe, is away. And Chris Moses looks like he's going to beat them both out. So Moses and Joe LaCour beats Thiago out of the pits.
Yeah.
Nieto now just exiting the pit lane now. So I think Nieto got off. He might have hit the wall, got some damage. So he's going to fall behind Canola and Moses and Joe LaCour.
Very costly. Now this is a golden opportunity for Chris Moses to close that gap a little bit to Ronny Nunez here. If he can get those tires up to temp, he's going to have a pretty good advantage.
Let's see, that gap was 30 seconds last time between Nieto and Moses when they entered the pits, and that time is just about 30 seconds here. Let's gonna see what happens here when Nunez comes in. And he's coming in now.
Yeah, well, it's the lap Nunez is going to have to take on his out lap as the tires come up to temperature. That's really where that gap is going to tell.
Ooh. Nearly got it into the wall there, coming into the pits. Pretty long pit lane here at Barcelona.
Wow, that was a good stop for Joe LaCour. You're absolutely right.
Moses now coming around the start-finish, the last corner, making his way down the straight. See where he is. Oh, looks like that is Nunez coming out. Moses carrying a ton of speed here down the straight.
Yeah.
Nunez is going to beat him out. Nunez on cold tires. This may be advantage Moses here in these first couple laps here for Nunez.
You know, I think it will tighten up pretty substantially, and I think that gap is going to be back to about 1.5 seconds by the end of this lap, Al.
Got some lap traffic ahead of Nunez as well, so that could play a role here. Let's hope not, but yeah, really good stop from Joe LaCour. You got to wonder if he opted to double stint those tires. Canola now 9 seconds off the leader, 5 seconds off of Joe LaCour. And they were nose to tail going into the pit stops.
That's a possibility. I mean, that time gained is 5 or 6 seconds to double stint those tires, so it's a possibility, Al. Well, I have been completely proven wrong as Nunez continues to open the gap on cold tires.
Yeah, I noticed that. So that gap's right around 3 seconds now after this outlap from Nunez over Chris Moses in second.
Not sure how he managed to do that. I don't know if Moses having some problems or Nunez is just that good, which he may be.
So it looks like pit stops have shuffled through here, and Watson is back in the top 10. So we saw him make a mistake earlier on, but he's recovered okay. Canola now in fourth. The big shift, though, between Nieto and the rest of the guys ahead of him after his problems in his pit stop.
Yeah, pretty much everybody else in front of him except for Ronny Nunez. Yeah, that's right. And I don't know that Nieto is going to have enough pace to get up to Thiago Canola by the end of this event, barring any mistakes.
So Parsons now running here in sixth with Marty Urand little ways back. Marty now coming under some pressure here from David Poole. So these two have been exchanging positions from time to time here throughout today's race. Watson running in ninth. Lithgow not too far off of Watson here in 10th. So he has run a pretty solid race for himself after some contact. John Houston makes his way past Mike Greatrix. This is for 11th. So Houston, Houston's still got some work cut out for him. It looks like he is, albeit some retirements here tonight. He's up in 11th, but I think in time, John will come around.
I suspect that both these guys in this team will come around. I'm just surprised it hasn't happened a little earlier. Look, Aaron Parsons, the winningest driver here at NAGP, to go along with the championship trophies as well. So it's always notable, when Aaron Parsons is not up there at the very front.
So it's worth noting our current points leader, Matt Taylor, who's carrying 30 kilograms of ballast here tonight, is back in 13th. So a bit of a tough night for Matt. He was flirting with the top 10 there early on, but has fallen back a little bit. Meanwhile, Chuck Carter and Cuppet. This is Cuppet in 16th, the last points paying position. He's putting some pressure on Chuck here for 15th. Corner where Cuppet had his near fatal accident, near race-ending accident, I should say. But it looks like he's going to get the pass made here on Chuck going into turn one. Yeah, Chuck a little slow through that final corner, so Cuppet's going to pick up that position here and move up a spot. Chandler there in 16th, the last points paying position. He's got the leader now coming up on him. Gap between Moses and Nunez has fallen just ever so slightly. It's around 3 seconds now, 2.7.
Yeah, and we saw that a bit in the first stint with Nieto and Moses both having a little bit of mid-stint pace there on Ronny Nunez, it appeared, and we're kind of seeing the same thing develop here at the moment. We'll see if that lasts this time. But I've been keeping my eye a bit there on our 8th place runner, David Poole, and like I was saying a little earlier, he has been having a tough time coming up to speed with these Formula Masters cars, and I think that I think this is going to prove to be a pretty beneficial race for him and get him some confidence going in these cars. Might be good going forward for him and his teammate.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ian Jolicoeur has found some pace here in this second stint. He's ever so slightly creeping up on Moses. The gap is just over a second between those two as Moses tries to make his way through some lap traffic. The gap is now 2 seconds between Moses and Nunez. So all these guys jockeying for position here. But this is at the moment benefiting Chris Moses as that lead is now under 2 seconds.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that pace of Ian Jolicoeur after stops. I think he figured something out a bit with the track, and once he was able to get the fresh rubber on, or perhaps he double stinted, I don't know, it took a bit of a mental break. He has definitely gotten back up on the wheel.
Ian's made his way past Chandler. So Moses trying to make his way past Chuck Carter here. Shouldn't be an issue. Ooh, Jolicoeur came up hard on Chuck, but got through okay. And meanwhile, there's Canola lurking there, creeping in the background, so picking up some time on these guys as well. Interesting. So that lap traffic really playing into the favor of Moses and Jolicoeur here.
Yeah, it really is, and boy, did we have a swap? Poole was behind Uren, was he not,
yeah,
or was it the other way around?
Poole has made his way past Uren. I apologize for missing that one, folks. Yep, so Marty there now back in 8th. Mascarelli running in 20th. He is a lap down. So Marty looks like he's a bit off pace. Last lap was a 43.2. So it looks like Marty might be struggling here in this stint. But the top 2 runners in yellow. That just means the gaps are starting to shrink.
Yeah, continuing to shrink at the moment. I don't know if that's going to last or not. Like I said, toward the end of that first stint, it did seem like those gaps kind of equalized. You know, it's interesting. These tires do go through different wear rates and wear stages, and setup does play a role in that. And this Assetto Corsa tire model can be a little tricky with that stuff, and it comes into play. How you set up the car and the cambers and everything will definitely have an effect over the course of a race, and how your tires are going to hold up over the course of a stint.
Some more lap traffic up ahead. It's Cuppet up ahead of Nunez. I think Moses is seeing an opportunity here and trying to seize on it, as is Jolicoeur. So,
well, in the case of Moses and Jolicoeur, there are not 2 guys which will push harder. The more opportunity they see, the harder they're going to go for it. Nunez, on the other hand, well, he's we're looking at only 8 laps to go, so he's looking toward the finish line now. He's got to try to manage that gap. But boy, have we seen Nunez just be more or less completely unflappable. It seems like he could drive through a tornado and blizzard and the apocalypse all at the same time and not have it phase him. So that's going to be a tough task, even if those guys can get up there.
no, I mean, you're right. Nunez is pretty rock solid behind the wheel. He's not going to be phased. And, the 2 other guys behind him, you can say pretty much the same for them. So, but this is going to be interesting to see how this here plays out with just a handful of laps to go in this race. Working lap 24 of 32. Looks like Canola got caught up in some traffic, lost a bunch of time here. So he's now down 10 seconds to the leader. So he was up, lost about 3 seconds. He was within about 7 seconds of Nunez, so he's fallen back. Luis Nieto now back in 5th after his stop. Really, he's been pretty quiet. Joe LaCour now sets fast lap of the race, so I told you, Joe LaCour is flying. 140.1 here. So incredible. So back out front here. This is really intense here. Up at the front. Round 3 here at Barcelona. Winding laps. Moses locking up the brakes. These guys. Nunez now coming up on a lap car of Jonathan Cuppet. Cuppet making it very easy for these guys, taking it off into the sand.
That was actually kind of a tough spot for Cuppet to try to get the leaders by. That's I'm sure he would have preferred to do it some other way, but that is certainly effective. Well, if you're going to have one best battle, yeah,
Moses nearly taking a wheel off there. He did, but it didn't cost him too much time.
I was gonna say that if you have one best battle on track, you want it to be for the lead. Nunez a bit of a wobble there, a bit of a tank slapper coming off the last corner now. Yeah, I've been watching that gap very closely, the gap between Thiago Canola and Luis Nieto, 4th and 5th there. And I think some of the impetus has gone out of Nieto here. I think once he had that mistake and fell back, I think he's been more or less content to kind of make sure he holds position. So, tough break for him, but nonetheless, looking at a 5th place finish, not too shabby.
Ooh, that gap now creeping out down to around a second. I think Moses might be running a little less swing than Nunez here. He picks up some time there on Nunez down the straight, but Nunez tends to gobble him up here a little bit in the twisty parts.
Yeah, well, we know Moses probably is running a little less aero, probably even than Nunez, but we saw both those guys able to pull Luis Nieto down the straight, so at least pretty similar aerodynamic configurations.
Bit of a moment there from Moses, going to cost him some time. It's going to allow Joe LaCour to pick up some time on Moses.
This could just be the break Nunez needed here with 6 laps to go if those two guys get to fighting behind him.
Now David Poole coming on. Oh, Nieto in the middle of some lap traffic there. It's going to be tough for him to get around. But David Poole now, Marty Uren looking to get around Poole here. These guys have swapped positions a few times now. It's Marty's turn to try and take that position back. I do have my eye on the front runners here. Gap still.
Well, that's an important.
Still consistent there. Go ahead, Brett.
That's an important battle there over 7th place. This could allow, if Marty Uren can pick up that spot with Ian Joe LaCour there running in 3rd, that could be just the pickup Kung Fu Racing needed to pick up some nice team championship points. They're for currently 5th. They can move up to 3rd.
Very important points here, but it looks like Wes Moses now coming under pressure from Joe LaCour. That gap really closing up between these two. Moses might have had a moment there that allowed Joe LaCour to close the gap up a little bit. Jump on board with Ian here. Ian's doing a great job. He looks like every time I'm on board with him, he seems like he's fighting that thing out everywhere.
He probably is. Wow. Another good one in store, Al. I mean, what's going to happen this week?
That's pretty amazing. I mean, if Moses can somehow get close to Nunez, the exit of that final corner 13, he may have a run on him down the straight. But he just can't get close enough getting to that point. Uren has made his way past Poole. Now Poole looking to counter. Oh, Moses taking it way wide. Way wide. A little bit of a mistake there for Moses. Not going to cost him too much time. There's 4 laps to go here in this race.
Go! Yeah, Moses is overdriving just a little bit here to start this lap. Wow. Still 4 to go.
Up on that battle real quick between Marty and Poole. Poole has now gotten past Marty again. Oh man, we keep missing it. Back up front though, it's Moses trying to fend off Joe LaCour and at the same time trying to close the gap to Nunez, but it is not happening. That gap is starting to increase now between Nunez and Moses. Joe LaCour just does not have the straight line speed here.
Yeah, well, I guess it's all about where you want to pick your spot now. If you're in Joe LaCour, you have maybe another lap or two to think about it a bit. Obviously, you're hoping for the mistake and for Moses to give it to you easy, but
you ain't gonna have a look on the outside. Battle for second. It's only benefiting Nunez as that gap is now 2.5 seconds between Moses and Joe LaCour. And climbing.
Well, Nunez couldn't be happier. You know, I think that the main thing if you're Chris Moses here is you obviously don't want to give up the spot, but you want to at least get third at the very worst. You know, you definitely don't want to over-defend or find yourself in a bad spot doing everything you possibly can to hang on to that position. If you have to give it up, well, third's better than a poke in the eye.
Yeah, he's really good through this part of the track. Moses having a tough time here.
Yeah, sure is.
Looks like Ian might take that position away. The two go side by side. Yeah, advantage.
Just nothing Chris could do.
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that the fronts have definitely gone off. Chris running wider and wider there the last 3 or 4 laps, pretty consistently.
Not able to maintain that pace.
I tell you, it's not necessarily over. Joe LaCour really starts to get the old red butt here going after Nunez. It could end in disaster for him pretty quickly too.
Some lap traffic up ahead for Nunez. Moses still hanging on to the back of Joe LaCour. So, but yeah, that turn 3 is where Moses has been struggling the most here late in this stint.
Yeah, generally Moses is running wider than Ian Joe LaCour at nearly all the corners that I've seen.
2 to go here at this round 3. It's Nunez out front, followed by Joe LaCour and Chris Moses. His top 3 have been battling tooth and nail. Canola right behind them in 4th, and Nieto in 5th. So, tell you what, Canola, that gap has been consistently 10 seconds for him and holding pace with these guys throughout this stint. So,
yep, it sure has.
yeah, just got caught out, it looks like, on the pit stops. Lost some time there.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Other than that, Thiago Canola might be figuring into this mix.
Absolutely. So further back, David Poole once again under some pressure from Marty. Oh, looks like we missed him. Yeah, it's your leader. See if we can pick up that battle. There we go. Yeah, David Poole doing his damnedest to hold off Marty Uren here, this late surge. Not sure if it's going to happen here as we're working the final lap of the race.
Well, definitely going to be a shakeup. Definitely going to be a shakeup, particularly in the team championship standings here with Alex White and Mike Trussler coming to bad ends tonight. Matt Taylor for PMR. Chris Moses is up there, but Matt Taylor off the pace. Kung Fu Racing, Ian Joe LaCour, Marty Uren, both look to have good finishes here tonight.
Yeah, David Poole as well, so that team's going to do well.
Uh-huh.
That Joe LaCour, though, it's hanging on to that second spot. So this is going to shake things up. You're right. And then the Drivers' Champion is going to move. It's going to move Nunez. I don't know if he's going to take over the lead, but it's going to be close. Going to be a big boost for Moses and Joe LaCour as well.
You know, I am actually pretty impressed by Matt Taylor's run here tonight. It started off poorly, qualified just inside the top 10, had all the weight, but and then got put back, but has really battled pretty hard here. So he's salvaging what points he can. I'm pretty impressed with the run.
So Ronny Nunez now approaching the final corner. He's got plenty of time to just cruise behind Lou here, not take any chances. Take the checkered flag here at Barcelona. Ronny Nunez, your winner. Joe LaCour is going to take second. Chris Moses right behind him in third. Thiago Canola with another strong run here is going to finish fourth. Luis Nieto going to come home here in fifth. Uppett's going to finish 13th, a lap down, and let's see, Parsons, pretty quiet run for him, but he should end up here in 6th. These guys make their way around to complete this final lap. David Poole looks like he's going to finish ahead of Marty, but those two with some great battles. And got to give it to Wathen and Oscar Lithgow finishing 9th and 10th respectively. So I'm going to back out of here, save this replay, talk to our winners. Ronny Nunez, do you copy?
Hello all.
Hey, Alan Brad here in the broadcast booth. Man, what an amazing race here tonight at Barcelona for you. You guys really put on a good show. And I got to hand it to you. Great start to jump ahead of Luis Nieto. Had a bunch of pressure from both him and Moses throughout the race, and then Joe LaCour, all three of you guys mixing it up. What was going through your head? I mean, you look pretty composed out there given the pressure you were under.
Yeah, basically, before this weekend, I was really slow during practice, and I put in a ton of laps, but still, had a good quality run. I knew that Luis was at least around 2 tenths faster. So we talked before the start, and we agreed to have a clean start. I took the lead, and it went really smooth from then on. I had really intense pressure throughout all the race, but I still had some speed under my sleeve in case Chris would have gotten too close.
Well, it was obviously a very challenging track, and more so probably because of the nature of the car itself. So just how hard do you feel that you did have to push tonight? Were you ever kind of in the red zone and having to be a little bit more cautious than you wanted to be, given the car and the dangerous nature of the track?
Oh yeah, Brad, that's right on point there. I mean, this track is so dangerous. And I was talking to David before the race about this. I mean, if you can keep it on the track, keep it on the tarmac, you're gonna have good results. I was especially backing off in the fast right-hander before the back straight, and in a lot of places I just held it back because it was so dangerous. I was never in a position where I could, push it with confidence.
Well, truly an outstanding run and a great win for you here tonight. So moving on to Albert Park next week in Australia. I know you haven't, you're driving with a little bit of weight here tonight, 10 kilograms. So you're going to be straddled with 30 next week, and given Matt Taylor, he's been pretty quick the last 2 weeks, but kind of suffering here tonight carrying that weight. What are you expecting next week?
I'm expecting, Matt has been amazing all season. Luis as well. Ian was surprisingly fast during the last stages of the race. And PMR, I mean, those guys are doing a great job. They're getting good results week after week. They're going to be really, really tough to beat. So, it's going to be a challenge for sure.
Well, congratulations, Ronnie, on a great drive here tonight, and good luck next week. We'll be watching you.
Thank you, guys. Good night, guys.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Well, wow, what a run here tonight, Brad. Another amazing race here. It was kind of little couple moments there where it was a little bit spread out, but that quickly changed here near the end. We had some battles going on all over.
Yeah, I sure did. I think some of the notes you have to take away, aside from the shakeup in the team classification, there is some of the big names going out early. We saw with, of course, Matt Taylor getting back a little bit, but Mike Trussler and Alex White going out, and of course Kevin Savoy coming to another bad end this week, as he did last week. So unfortunate there, but drivers who would have figured immensely into this race, no doubt by the end, had they been able to stay out there on track. So, but we knew going in that was the nature of the track, and honestly, Al, I'm surprised we didn't see more retirements than we did. So, good job to all our competitors staying on track that did finish, and notable congratulations there to John Wathan. It was only a 9th place finish, but highest finish yet to date, and it was good to see him inside the top 10.
Yeah, it was a great run for Wathan. So, well, we'll be back on Thursday night here for round 3 of our Thursday Night GT series from Sepang. So hopefully starting at 9 o'clock. Hopefully you guys can tune in for that race. It's going to be a good one. And we will be back here next Monday for round 4 from Albert Park. So should be another great race there. First time visit for us here at NAGP at that circuit. So look forward to that. And until then, thanks everybody for tuning in, and have a great night. Thanks, Brett.